introducing the book of Luke. Full disclosure, as I jump into this book, this is my favorite gospel. Am I allowed to say that? I don't even know, but I just really love the storyteller. Luke is an academic. He's actually a physician, and he really likes historical detail. I wish he actually gave even more of it, a lot more, but I'm assuming papyrus or parchment or whatever he was writing on wasn't cheap. I guess you really had to choose your words back then. Also, like me, he's a Gentile, which simply means he isn't Jewish. So he fills in a few of the blanks that someone who wasn't raised Jewish might miss. The man for whom he wrote was also a Gentile, so I get to feel like part of his target audience. Luke clearly loved and respected this guy Theophilus, so he wanted to give him a clear and well-presented account. Each gospel, telling the story from a different perspective, adds to our picture of who this Jesus was and what he was really like. I'm really thankful there are 4 of them, but Luke speaks my language. If you find one of the other guys tells the story in a way that connects better with you, we can still be friends. As we read the book of Luke together, I need you to actually read it with me. This is a conversation about a story. I might summarize things from time to time, but mostly I want to talk about it. When I sit down to study the Bible, it's like being with an old friend. I grab my biggest mug full of coffee. I wrap up in a blanket if it's a chilly day. I keep a notebook handy, both to record the things I see and also to write down all the crazy, distracting, random thoughts that come to mind. There's something about studying the Bible that makes me suddenly remember that I'm almost out of milk. I need to reschedule my optometrist appointment, and I need to see how my friend's dog came through surgery, So if you're as easily distracted as I am, I highly recommend having a notebook handy where you can write things down to deal with later. I typically also say a prayer, asking God to help me notice what he wants me to notice. If you aren't sure if there is a God, this might be a good way to invite him to help you notice him. There is no formula, but I would challenge you to keep an open mind as you read. If you believe in God, you may find he isn't exactly who you thought he was. If you don't or aren't sure, try to be open to the possibility. This is another topic for another day, but there are lots of reasons, scientific, rational, moral, historical, even existential, to think that there is a God and that he is the one revealed in the Bible. I personally have come to rationally and experientially be convinced of this. It makes sense in view of what I know about the world and the things I personally experienced. Those things just added to my conviction, but that's just me, and I'm not here to tell you what to think. I just want to read the Bible with you and talk about what I see. Okay, I'm hoping you found a comfy spot and an open heart. Now let's find Luke. If this isn't new to you, just go read Luke 1, verses 1 to 25 and meet me at the next heading. But if this is new, you're going to need a Bible of some kind. I love having an actual book in my hands, but it's completely unnecessary. If you don't have one handy, there are tons of apps that have multiple translations and paraphrases of the Bible. There are even a number of websites you can go to. I love Bible Gateway. I love Bible.org. NetBible has a ton of stuff. I'm forgetting a lot of really good ones. So there's plenty of websites you can go to look. If you go to my website, I link to different ones just to kind of give you options at the top of each of my blogs. So if you go to the browser on really just on Google or whatever and type Luke 1 to 25, it will pop up. There will be a bunch of options. If you have a paper Bible that you want to use, Luke is probably 3/4 of the way to the back. There's always a table of contents if you get stuck. Luke 1 is the first chapter of the book of Luke, and the part that says 1 to 25 refers to the verses. The verses are the little sequential numbers in the paragraphs as you're reading. It's a very simple system. The numbers don't have any special significance. Someone just added them in the last 600 years or so to make it easy to reference so that you and I can talk about them and know what specific section we're talking about. It was a common thing. They did it with Plato for sure, like a ton of ancient texts. Shakespeare might even have it. I don't know. Um, I think that's the preamble out of the way. So let's take a look at the book of Luke. If you can find your Bible, read chapter 1, verses 1 to 25. Take a sip of whatever you're drinking, and let's chat.